Ghosts, ghouls, specters, poltergeists, spirits. Many names have been given to the presence that can be seen or felt or smelled. But is it real? Or do we just enjoy scaring ourselves?
Join us, Amelia
and Beth,
two cousins trying to figure out history's bumps in the night. Is it residual energy, ghosts, time loops, angels?
We're not going to do any demons, though.
We're here to hear all your best ghost stories from the region and look back at some of the area's favorite legends. So join us and our EMF readers as we try to decipher possible EVPs and talk to some experts in the paranormal realm.
You can find us on Insta or Twitter at Ghost Hunting in New England or email us ghosthuntinginnewengland@gmail.com.
Don't forget to click subscribe and get ready for your new favorite spooky podcast.
Welcome to Ghost Hunting in New England.
Bye.
I think at the beginning we should just have the croissant talk. We are experiencing technical difficulty.
We can't find where the mouse is on the screen. So we're going to cut all of this dead time out and just go right to the playing of the clip. Is it a donut?
Do you want me to turn your mic down?
But you can't ask it this way and make it sound like we didn't just do this.
La 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 la.
A ghost just came in and took our bandwidth away.
It's okay, don't worry about it. Hey everyone, and happy Wednesday. We're so happy to be here with you guys.
Yes, we are.
Thank you so much to everyone who tuned in for our first 3 episodes. We really appreciate it. It's been super exciting hearing everyone's feedback. If you have more feedback to send to us, you can do it on our website, ghosthuntinginnewengland.com. You can message us on Instagram or our Twitters. And we'd love to hear from you and know kind of what you thought of the first group.
Absolutely. You could even, if you're old school, send us an email at ghosthuntinginnewengland@gmail.com.
Yes. And I got so excited about it, we didn't introduce ourselves. So I'm Amelia.
And I'm Beth.
And this is Ghost Hunting in New England. This week's a little different for us, but we promised everyone we would have a new episode this week, and we really wanted to say it. So we had a ghost hunt planned. It fell through last minute. And then we had an interview planned, and then that fell through. So luckily, Beth came up with this brilliant idea of something to do this week, which I think is really cool. And I'm going to have her explain it a little.
What we're doing is Ghosts in the News, and we'd really like a cute name for it. So if people have good ideas, I mean, Ghoulies in the Newlies just sounds kind of weird and a little bit...
That sounds weird and doesn't
juvenile.
make a lot of sense. It doesn't make it Newlies.
I don't know. It's really the best that I've been able to come up with at this point, but I'm hoping that people have better ideas, and I am all ears about them. So the idea is different times when in the news, the kind of like mainstream news, even if it's just your local news, has had a story about ghosts in that area. And so I've spent some time online just kind of searching through for different news stories. And so there are lots of articles, and in order to not bore you to death by reading articles and summarizing articles at you, we tried very hard to find like little 1-minute, 2-minute news clips that have been out about various hauntings and spooky activities. And I wasn't necessarily able to find a lot of them, quote, in New England, but since Amelia and I are from New England, technically we are ghost hunting within New England because we are in New England. So we have, there's some stuff in England, there's some stuff in Ireland, there's stuff all through the United States. And so we just have these clips here that we're going to play through and talk about.
And I think that's awesome. And just, if anyone's nervous that this means we're not going to do ghost hunt soon, we're doing one Monday night.
Monday night, we have a private residence that we are going to go that has had some history of ghost hunting over the last, or ghost phenomena over the last 20 years.
So we're super excited about that. We have some other stuff up in Salem that's on our list. We have a restaurant in New Hampshire on our list. So we have a lot of things. And as always, if you have a private residence you want us to come check out, or you know a public place that's really haunted, again, you know our website, ghosthuntinginnewengland.com, and you just send us a message right from there. Should we get started with the clips?
We absolutely should. So this first one was actually on Inside Edition, and it came out in April of 2015. And the title of it is Guest at the Shining Haunted Hotel Captures Eerie Ghost Figure. So let's see what they have to say.
Oh, I can't wait.
It's like a scene from The Shining.
Here's Johnny.
A man staying at one of the country's most famous haunted hotels took this eerie image of a figure standing at the top of a stairwell at the Stanley Hotel in Colorado. Some speculate they see two people. Henry Yu visited the tourist destination after hearing how it inspired Stephen King to write the novel turned movie.
Stay away from me.
Henry says he heard the place was haunted, but never imagined he would capture what appears to be a ghost. He explains he wanted to take a panoramic photo of the grand stairwell in the lobby. He didn't remember seeing anyone standing there because he usually doesn't like people in his pictures. When he took it, he didn't notice anything, but overnight he started feeling sick. The next morning he looked at the photo again, and sure enough, there was the silhouette. Now that's spooky. For InsideEdition.com, I'm Lee Sheps.
Okay, so what do we think about that one?
I don't know about that one. He was talking about the fact that he didn't like to have people in his pictures as he was taking these panoramic pictures, but then as you look, there's a guest checking in at the main desk right there in the picture. Although I do have to admit, it is one of the clearer, quote, ghost pictures that I've seen recently. I find that most of them tend to be very fuzzy.
So it is a very clear ghost picture. And I have a degree in photography. And I can say, almost without a doubt, that is not a real photo.
And why would you say that is not a real photo?
Because that is a very easy thing you can do with like a double exposure, or by leaving your camera lens open a little bit, have someone pop in and then pop out of the picture, especially with that weird lighting.
It was very fuzzy lighting in the picture, and
Right.
then other parts of it were very clear.
Yes. So I would say just because it's so different than any of the other ghost pictures we've really ever seen. And
Yes.
it's just such a good story, you know? And I think that's something we always kind of talk about. We always will continue to talk about. Like, oh, well, I went to the most famous haunted, quote-unquote, hotel that was in this huge movie, and oh, I'm a photographer, and oh, I happened to catch the picture at the top of the stairwell, you know?
Right, of the very clear, full apparition
Right.
standing right there at the top of the stairs.
Yes.
Yes.
A little too convenient for me.
Just a little? Only a little too convenient?
It's a lot too convenient for me. For me, I say not a ghost.
Not a ghost? Well, so the other part that I find untrue about that particular one is the fact that he wakes up in the middle of the night and he doesn't feel well. And then how the news anchor says, and sure enough, the next morning he looks at the picture and there it is. It just didn't seem plausible.
Right. It would be like, well, you didn't feel well? Like you drank too much? Like, I don't know. It just,
Yeah, what does not feeling well have
like,
to do
were
with
you
anything?
dizzy? Like, I've definitely been in places where something's going on and I get very, very dizzy, very lightheaded. But I wouldn't describe it as being, like, sick.
No. And I also wouldn't connect it with the fact that maybe I took a picture of a ghost earlier.
Right. Correct.
Fair enough?
Yes.
Okay.
On to the next.
On to the next. So we're going to call that one phooey. I don't know. What's that? Do we have a star rating or a spook rating? Or
Oh, we should. I give that one 1 out of 5 spooky twins.
spooky twins?
Yeah, it's Shining.
Well, but our rating system has to
Make
apply
a different
to all.
rating for all of them.
A
Doesn't
different rating
matter.
for all? Okay.
Doesn't
All
matter.
right. So how about half a twin?
We'll give the Shining Hotel half a twin.
Half a twin.
Yes.
Okay.
On to the
And
next.
On to the next. And obviously these are all going to be posted on the website so that you can go in and check them out for your own.
Yes. Okay, so our next clip comes from October 2018. It is out of Wales, which is a little country right by England, for those who don't know. And it's about a 16th century house.
Is Wales its own country? I was pretty sure it was a part of England.
No, it's its own country.
Are you sure?
Positive.
Okay. I'll take your word for it.
Come to work here. I was downstairs in the kitchens. It was late in the day. I was damping the fire down before we locked and alarmed the house for the night. Turned to my right and stood at the bottom of the cellar steps. There was a figure of a girl, probably 15, 16 years old. She had a long cloak on. She was wearing a hood, but the hood was pulled almost all the way back of her head, so I could see her hair was pulled back, and I smiled at her. Nodded. She didn't look transparent like you'd expect a classic ghost to be. Didn't think too much of it until a few years later After the ghost tour, there was a lady who claimed powers of mediumship, and she sidled up to me at the end of the tour and she said, "You know, there's a girl who follows you around this house." And I said, "Really? Can you describe her?" And she did, and she gave an exact description of the girl that I'd seen stood at the bottom of the cellar steps.
Spooky music.
I know,
I like that one.
And that was like a really good like little kid laugh, right?
Yeah, that was very spooky. Okay, so what news site is that off of again?
This is on the BBC's website. So the BBC being a fairly reputable news source.
Absolutely.
Right? So this was a man who had a fairly thick brogue. So if you didn't catch what he was saying, if you watch it on the website, there are subtitles. But he's basically talking about the idea that as he was working one night, he's getting ready to lock up and he turns and there's this 15-year-old girl just standing there looking at him. He smiled at her and went on his way. And then a couple of years later, he was at the end of a ghost tour and a medium came up to him and said, "Do you know that there's a girl that follows you around in this house?" He was like, "Oh, you don't say. What'd she look like?" And the woman or the medium, I interpret it as a woman, I'm sorry. The medium says that she looked just like the girl he had seen all those years ago when he first started working there.
All right, what do we think? Ghost or not a ghost?
Well, there's no sort of photographic evidence other than this guy's say-so.
I believe this guy.
I'm inclined to believe.
I believe this guy.
I believe this guy too. He looks like a trustworthy kind
He
of guy.
does. He does not look like a I want to be on BBC talking about ghosts kind of guy.
No, not even a little.
Not even a little.
And his story has just enough detail to it that it seems real because it doesn't have too much detail. Like, it doesn't seem rehearsed. It doesn't seem like he's trying to get attention with it. It just seems like he's talking about going to the supermarket this morning.
I totally agree.
Okay.
And the other thing I think is that for the most part, when people see ghosts, they either see them as like a full person, like a la Sixth Sense, or they see like a shadow. I think that like the first picture we saw, like the kind of see-through person, I don't think that I've never honestly heard of someone reputable that I would like really believe, or any other ghost hunters I talk to ever saying they've seen something like that.
That see-through, like,
yes,
the
like you see a shadow, you see things, other things moving, or you see what looks like a full person.
Okay, fair enough.
I don't really know if there's like that much in between.
Okay.
Where you like, you know what I mean? Like maybe like kind of see through, but it wouldn't be like you could tell like you're wearing a blue scarf. It wouldn't be like a semi see-through blue scarf. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Even when we talked about Market Basket, like they saw a woman. You know what I mean?
She just happened to be wearing weird clothes.
Correct. They didn't see see-through woman. That's what I'm trying to say.
Okay.
Yes.
So I'm with this guy.
I'm with this guy too.
All right. So
I give this 4 out of 5 spooky British kids. That's my rating on this one.
All right, you are officially in charge of doing all the ratings from here on out. Yours are way more creative than mine.
All right, on to the next.
On to the next one. So speaking of the shadow figures.
Yes.
So the next one is going to be out of Detroit. And there was actually a news crew in the house. And they...
Yes. Is this the one where they get scratched?
Yes.
This is one of my absolute favorite clips. Yes, I love this one. I'm so happy we're doing this.
Okay. This one's 3 minutes.
I think it's worth it.
Okay. So this is in Detroit on CNN, originally from WPMT.
Okay, but what is the title? Because if you're listening to this, when this is over, like pause our podcast and go watch it and then turn our podcast back on, because this is honestly one of my absolute favorites.
It's called Haunted Houses, quote, Ghost, end quote, Attacks News Crew.
Let's do this.
This home looks quiet from the outside, but owner Deanna Simpson says several ghosts are haunting it, and she's caught them in photos and recordings, including this one.
The majority are bad, dark forces, unhuman.
Just a couple minutes into the interview, our photojournalist, Nick, felt his wrist burning.
Are you okay? Did you get scratched?